Good evening, everyone. Welcome. My name is Warren Nelson. I am the director of Online Real Estate School and the sponsor of this free show called the Free Live Streaming Real Estate Class. Welcome to the free live streaming real estate class. I want to welcome my followers. I get a lot of text messages from a lot of you saying that you tune in every Monday. I appreciate that you're here every Monday. I try not to disappoint. I try to give a little bit of education about what we're going to be learning in real estate and what we're going to be learning in school. And so I want to thank those that I've read so many of your texts, so many of your emails. Thank you very much for attending my show. I'm very happy that the audience is getting bigger, and I'm happy that you're learning that you want to start investing in yourself. And that's what we're going to be talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Our next class to obtain your real estate license starts August 17th. August 17th is in the state of Pennsylvania, you are required to take a 75-hour state mandated class. And you want to do some research on the school that you're going to do these 75 hours with, because you'll be surprised what you learn and don't learn at some of these real estate schools. And what their job is, ladies and gentlemen, the school's basic job is to prep you to pass a real estate exam. That's basically it. And you have to understand that schools that are registered with the state have a pass fail ratio with the state. If too many of my students from my school fail the exam, well, that's going to affect my pass fail ratio. I could actually lose my license as an educator because I'm not educating. And so the Real Estate Commission really puts a lot of stock into the students. So if you say that you went with ABC school and you failed the exam 8 times, it doesn't reflect well for ABC school. So I always try to joke with my students and I let them know that you're representing Online Real Estate School. You can't let me down. You can't disappoint. You got to pass that exam. So most schools, ladies and gentlemen, will do just that. They'll teach you how to pass a real estate exam. What I'm going to do, and this is why most of the brokers, the word's getting out, when you leave this school, your alma mater, Online Real Estate School Inc., be proud of it, because many brokers are trying to get the students that are coming out of this school first before any of the other schools, because they know what I teach you in the school, ladies and gentlemen, is not just how to pass a real estate exam, but I teach you how to run your real estate business. And this is very important because once you become a licensed real estate agent, you're an independent contractor. You're your own boss. You're running your own company. You don't work for somebody else. And so, as a real estate agent, a licensed real estate professional in the state of Pennsylvania, you are your own boss. And so, that's one great thing about the real estate business, that you don't have a boss, you do your own thing. But if you're not good at motivating yourself, you're not going to make a lot of money in this business, because I can't get you to get off the couch. So you have to understand that once you take this class, I'm going to teach you how to run a real estate business. So once you become licensed, once you pass the exam, you're not swimming around saying, now what? What do I do now? I'm going to teach you how to work with certain buyers, certain sellers, when you first start out with, so that you can immediately get that money into your bank account. We just got off a podcast with Antonio Goodman. Now, I did a podcast with him last week, and we did the live streaming show together last week. So Antonio was on my show last week, but the podcast didn't record. So we had to do the podcast again. How embarrassing is that to say? And I don't even have, I can't blame my producer on it, because I do the podcast myself. So I was responsible for it not recording correctly. So we had to do it again. And the lifestyle that we live as real estate agents affords us these opportunities where we can be available to do it. But the funny thing was, he's working deals, I'm working deals. So I got a couple offers going, he's got a couple offers. So as we're doing the podcast together, we're both looking at our phones, looking multitasking, looking at deals. So I got a highest and best offer by 5 o'clock tomorrow that we have to submit, and he's working on deals as well. Antonio just came out of my class. He passed the class in November. He became a licensed real estate agent in December, and he's already did 6 deals, over $30,000 in commission in his pocket for the $400 investment that he made 6 months ago, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, uh, and again, those that are on this show right now, Those that come to my class are entrepreneurs. You got a different blood going through your veins. And so that's the thing about it. You're great at time management. Even when you don't think you have the time, you figure out a way to get it done anyway. So that's the thing that we do. So if you're in this class, if you're in my class, in the August class, or you're on the show right now, or you're listening to my podcast, then you are an entrepreneur. You got a different blood pumping through your veins. You're a problem solver, and that's what we're good. We're good at helping other people with their problems. We're not so good at helping ourselves with our own problems, but we're good at helping other people with their problems. And once you become a licensed real estate professional, you invested $400 to become a licensed real estate professional. You now have a license to represent others. How great is it, ladies and gentlemen? First of all, to be a licensed real estate professional in the state of Pennsylvania for $400. You took a 75-hour class. I taught you exactly what you needed to know, not only to pass the exam, but now to run your real estate business. And now that you're running your real estate business, you're helping buyers and sellers, helping them with their dreams, making a lot of money for helping them. And it's a rewarding venture all the way through where you get to pay it forward. You're literally helping others achieve their dreams. And in the process, you're making a great income, also known as a different, you're respected now. You are a licensed real estate professional. So you're held at a different plateau, a different platform. You're now on a little bit of a pedestal because you do have this real estate license. It is presumed that you are much more knowledgeable than the average person in real estate. And once you take my classes, ladies and gentlemen, you can help. In 75 hours, 6 weeks together, I am going to teach you everything you need to know to invest in property, to buy property, to sell property, and to represent others in the same process. A win 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 situation. If you're coming right out of high school, this is a great starting point. Don't have all your eggs in one basket. Don't rely on one income. We're coming out of a COVID pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, and do we have a choice? Do we go back to work for $15 to $20 an hour, or do we start a new lifestyle? What do you got to lose? It's a $400 investment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but you'll never know. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. If you never make that first, then you will not be able to make the second and the third step. And so if you don't start off, then you can't succeed. The only thing that holds an entrepreneur back is that entrepreneur. You. You are sometimes your own worst enemy. I know I am. I'm very hard on myself. I'm looking at myself right now, and I'm not very happy. All right. All right. I can see that I'm getting a little older. I like to see that 20-year-old, that 30-year-old, but I don't see that 20-year-old and 30-year-old. But you know what I do see? I see a person who has had a great lifestyle, who's now paying it forward, who's teaching others to have a great lifestyle, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed in life. I'm paying it forward. I've helped other people with their process of buying and selling homes. I've got the word out there. I got the podcast, the free show, the real estate business, the school, work. Ladies and gentlemen, the secret to success, you have to work to succeed. There are no get rich quick schemes. You don't know how many times I talk to investors and they say, oh, well, that's called the meat and potato deal. That's called the salmon and steak deal. What? What? Oh, these are techniques that we learned in school that we went to, this investment schooling. They taught us how to do these techniques. Well, life's not about techniques, ladies and gentlemen, and it's not about taking advantage of other people and their bad situation. That's what most investors or investment gurus or seminars would teach you. Go to auctions, try to help somebody in pre-foreclosure, try to say, and it makes it sound like you're trying to do them a square, but you're trying to make money. But tell you right now, ladies and gentlemen, every time you go chasing that money, it's not there. Here's the tip that I'm going to teach you before we take our break. And then when we come back from break, I'm going to teach you. Anytime that you're running a business, ladies and gentlemen, you're not running business for the money. The money is a byproduct. What most people do not understand is when you start a business, you're starting a business to generate leads. Leads, leads, leads. What's a lead? Email address, telephone number, and a name. Ladies and gentlemen, take me for instance. 3 o'clock this morning, I'm sending out my text messages. I sent out almost 200 texts. Now I don't text blast, so I do each one of my texts one by one. It's all copy and paste, so it's an easy process, but it still takes several hours. And I don't send out my text blast at 3 o'clock in the morning. I schedule it to go out the next day at 11 or 12 o'clock. I know each day what time's good on a Monday, what time's good on a Tuesday. So you got to start knowing. You don't want to bother somebody at 5 o'clock when they're leaving work and trying to get home in traffic. That's not a good time. So you're going to have to start understanding your business, the seasonality of your business, and what time's a good time to contact people. And each day's different. Monday's completely different than Friday. Wednesday, hump day, is completely different than Monday. Monday, everybody hates Monday. I love Monday. The lifestyle I live. I just was at the golf course all day, and now I came in, I did my podcast. Now I'm doing the live streaming show. This is the life that you will lead when you start helping others with this real estate license, ladies and gentlemen. So our next class starts August 17th. We're going to be talking about that after our break, and then we're going to be talking about you investing in yourself and changing your lifestyle for the better as well. So when we come back to break, we're going to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. A word from our sponsor. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the quickest hour in real estate. I love doing this show every Monday. I love the response that I'm getting and the replies that I'm getting. And I love the new students that I'm getting. August 17th, ladies and gentlemen, is our next class. Now, I run two classes. I have a morning class, which is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, starting on the 17th. And that would be for 6 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. That will give you your 75 hours. So that's a morning class, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 6 weeks. And I also have an evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday as well, starting on the 17th. Now, the August class is filling up very quickly. As a matter of fact, I got a lot of signups for the October class. That's how fast these classes are filling up because the word is getting out there. My reviews are getting out there. People are reading the reviews. They're coming to my class. They're not disappointed. They're referring me to all their friends. There is no disappointment. Not only am I going to teach you how to pass the real estate exam, I'm going to teach you how to run a real estate business. I'm going to teach you how to invest in property, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to teach you the easy way of doing math, and I'm going to teach you the memory techniques. That's one thing that my school has that no other school has. Some of the psychology classes that I have, I can bring in to incorporate here. Psychology plays a big role in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen. And we talk about that. And so when I teach you how to use the brain, the hemisphere, the right side and the left hemisphere of the brain, I'll teach you the long-term memory techniques. And there is my producer right on the spot. They showed this picture, ladies and gentlemen. There is the brain. The brain is, we really actually have two brains. There's two hemispheres, the left and the right hemisphere. And the left hemisphere, if you're right-handed, then we use the left hemisphere of our brain for logic, for reasoning, and our short-term memory is there. And we rely too heavily on short-term memory, which will escape us. On the right side of our hemisphere, if we ever cross over, because some of our children are drugged up in school that they may never cross over, but if you're fortunate enough to be able to cross over to the other hemisphere of your brain, then you're going to notice your creativity, music, art, poem, writing, all different skills that most people won't have because most people don't know how to use the other hemisphere of that brain. And it's a technique that you use. And just by me talking to you right now out loud is going to a different hemisphere of the brain. But when you read something silently, it goes to the short-term memory. And short-term memory will escape you. And we're not taught to use our long-term memory. And so what I'm going to teach you in my class is not only how to be a great real estate agent, how to represent others, but how to use the brain in a way that you probably never used it before. And so we'll give you different exercises and all different techniques to use to improve your memory capability so that you have long-term memory techniques. And once you improve your long-term memory techniques, you're going to ace the exam. Every answer is going to come back to you. But if you rely on short-term memory is going to escape you. It's only good for a minute, an hour, a week. But once it's gone, it is completely out of the database. You can't retrieve it. But if it's in the long-term memory, there is a way to pull it out of the filing cabinet and retrieve it. So these are the techniques that I'm going to teach you in my class. And this is why my class is getting such great ratings, great reviews. I mean, the leads are coming in like crazy. My classes are filling up very quickly, and everybody wants to get their piece of the pie, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm telling you to invest $400 in yourself. Invest $400. I'm going to go to the casino after we're done here, and I'll probably lose $400 in the next hour or two and have nothing to show for it. All right? Is that a good move on my part? No, but the wife wants to go to the casino, and so this is the lifestyle that we live now. And so she wants to go, and then we're going to go. I'll drop a couple $100, and if I win, I win. I don't. I don't. That's the way it goes. But what I'm trying to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, is that's not an investment in myself. Going to the casino. This is an investment in yourself. $400 can change your world, and even if you don't even have $400, I'll get you started with $150 to get started, ladies and gentlemen. And that happens because a lot of some of my students, they'll come into my class for $150 and they'll say, you know what, it's probably not for me. And then they'll leave, which is okay because they only invested $150 for that knowledge. But if they want to go through the whole class and get their transcripts to take the state exam, then it's only $400. I couldn't make it any easier. I don't do it for free. I made that mistake, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have nothing invested, then you get nothing out of it. All right? If you don't have nothing invested, no skin in the game, I gave you the class for free, you're going to fail my class. You're not going to make any effort because you got no skin in the game. So I now charge my students $400, and I'm the cheapest. I am the least expensive real estate school, live streaming school out there in the state of Pennsylvania. Now, this is a virtual school, ladies and gentlemen. So just like this as a Zoom platform, you get to talk to me, see me, ask me questions just as if you were sitting in the classroom. So this is not an online program. This is not a website. This is a virtual real estate school, ladies and gentlemen. So you're in a classroom, you're at your house, but you're literally sitting in a classroom with an instructor, myself, and you get to ask me questions. I get to review everything. I get to teach you the real estate. And these 6 weeks will go fast, ladies and gentlemen. They go by so quick. You don't know how many students say they're already missing the class. They come back. Oh, that's another thing. Once you become an alma mater of online real estate school, you're a student for life, ladies and gentlemen. You're always welcome to come back to my class, the class that you paid for, free of charge, over and over again, indefinitely, as long as you want. So let's just say that you take my class and you have to wait 3 or 4 months before you can take the state exam because life gets in the way. You're welcome to come back to my class free of charge. Sit in the class free of charge to refresh and get ready for that state exam. So that's always an opportunity for you that you're always welcome to come back to the class anytime. No other school offers this. And you should see the passing grades. I changed my curriculum, my homework assignments, and I just did it for the very first class. You should have seen the scores. I had 3 or 4 students that had perfect scores. I had a couple students that only had 1 or 2 or 3 questions wrong. This is the techniques that I'm teaching you. So not only am I going to teach you how to pass the exam, you're going to ace the exam. I had 3 students ace it with 100%, no wrong answers. That is rare. So that's new technique that I'm doing in the class is really working in the long-term memory techniques to make it very, very easy for you to pass the exam and become a very confident real estate agent to represent others. And so we'll talk about all these things as we're going along, starting with your very first investment, ladies and gentlemen. That very first investment is the investment in yourself. And I had the pleasure of talking to a couple of my potential students who've been listening for several months and several weeks to the show and are now ready to invest in themselves. And I'm very, very happy that they're taking this leap of faith to invest in themselves. And again, as I said, even if they don't learn everything that they need to learn to get that comfortable, they don't have to pay for the class again with my school. that you can come back to the class over and over and over again free of charge until you have that confidence. I have several of my students that want to come back because of the camaraderie. They love the camaraderie. You'll see how some of my classes, the students really get together, share notes, and they start role playing with each other, becoming buyers, sellers, real estate agents. And so it becomes a very active role. I get to share my life experiences with you, court cases, live experiences, so you know exactly what you can and cannot do. And that's what a lot of people don't understand when they come to my class. A lot of people have grandeurs of no money down deals, same day flip, wholesale retail flipper, assignment of contract, auction property. And then they come to my class and they realize that many of the things that they thought they could do, they can't do legally. And that's what my class teaches, ladies and gentlemen, what you can and cannot do legally and ethically. So I'll tell you exactly what you can't do. You can't represent yourself. You're not an investor. You are a real estate representative. So you're representing a buyer, a seller, you're representing the broker. We'll talk about that. And your job is to represent their benefit, their interest, not your own interest. This is why I said to you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're trying to make money in a business, then you got the wrong thinking process. Stop trying to make money. It's going to stress you out. You're not making any money. The business is going to be a failure. It's not going to be success. And you're just stressed out because you're trying to make money, trying to make money. That is not what you want to do. What you want to do with any business, ladies and gentlemen, is build up a database. The database leads to the money. It's not easy teaching this because people just don't understand. Well, emails don't pay the bills. Yes, they do. I just sent out over 200 texts, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I copy and paste my texts, and I don't text blast because you can only do so many characters with a text blast. So my texts are personal, and I send out the text to every one of my potential students, and they get a personalized text from me, and I get a lot of correspondence. But every time that somebody's interested in the class, I'm on the phone. I'm talking with them. I'm letting them know what's going to be benefit to them. And when you come to my class, I try to teach you as a real estate agent to start generating those leads and cultivating those leads, those telephone numbers, those email addresses, those names. Cultivate those leads, generate those leads, especially today. You can't buy these lists anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I used to be able to buy an email list, a telephone list. You can't do that today, especially with a lot of CRMs. CRMs will not send out database to anybody who's not registered as uh, a lead for you. They gave you permission to send them out an email. They gave you permission to send them out a text message. All right. So we're working in a system today where you can't buy these email addresses. You can't buy these numbers. You got to build them up. Look at Trulia and Zillow, ladies and gentlemen. They're worth millions of dollars. And what do they have? They have a website and a database. That database, because you got to put in your email address in order to get anything on their website. That's what a lot of real estate agents are doing. They're making websites where you got to give database. But what do you do with the database? Nothing. Nothing. And now you're saying, well, the email didn't make me no money. That's right, it didn't. Because you didn't do anything with it. Your whole premises of running your business was all completely backwards. And this is the problem. Management. Most people are great at starting a company. Most people have lots of grander ideas. They want to do something that make everybody money, 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 money. But what they're not good at is management. And that is where a lot of companies fail. Yours truly, I still have the same problem. In the beginning, I tried to do a one-man show. I wanted to do everything, wanted to do it all myself. Then I realized that I was killing myself by not doing or trying to do what I don't know how to do. And so I started hiring a producer. Vernon's my producer. The Gish Group does this show. And it was one of the best moves I ever made. Then I started hiring people to do my social media. Mert does my LinkedIn. One of the best people I ever had working for me as a social media manager. Emmanuel, my virtual assistant. I don't know how he does the things that he does, ladies and gentlemen. But what I'm trying to say is now it's better managed. And now that I had people doing things that I was trying to do myself, it was costing me time, it was costing me money. So one of the first things that I had to learn is how to manage businesses much properly because I really wasn't doing a very good job. Even though I wanted to pat myself on the shoulder by saying I was doing it all, I was literally holding the company back until I started learning how to delegate and having others do what they specialize in doing. And so that's what I'm going to teach you, ladies and gentlemen, how to build up your database, nourish that database to where the database is making you money. Don't go chasing money. Don't try to hustle and make money. And don't go to the casinos to try to make money. That's a losing bet as well. All right. So she wants to go. I go. I'm the taxi driver. But since I'm there, I might as well be a little foolish. But again, as I said, uh, I'm going to teach you how to run a real estate business. I'm going to teach you how to manage the business. That is where the success is going to come in. And once you learn that all I'm doing is all the only thing I want this show to do, and guess what? When this show is over, ladies and gentlemen, my email will be filled with potential new students that want to join the school, and I will be contacting them almost immediately if I can. Because again, time is a problem, but they love to hear from you. Just when anybody contacts you in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen, contact them, call them. They want to hear from you and let them know what could be changing in their life, ladies and gentlemen. One thing that I love about the real estate business is first time buyers. Always loved first time buyers. First time buyers are the most appreciative of all. And I've been doing this for 30 years. I still work with first time buyers, still my favorite. The first time buyer, especially for a brand new real estate agent, I teach this in my class that once you become a licensed agent, that I want you to start focusing on the first time buyer. So I'll show you a marketing program, exactly how you're going to stay in contact with these, how you're going to cultivate these leads, everything. First time buyers don't care that you're a brand new real estate agent. They don't care that you've been licensed a day, a week, a month, a year. They're going to treat you like you've been doing this for 30 years. It's their first time they're buying a property. So they're going to rely on you. And yes, you're a brand new real estate agent, but look how your confidence is building up. Working with a first time buyer is going to help you start your real estate business and teach you the templates that you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, as you go along. Your first three deals is always the kind of rocky deals. And then after that, it's templated. You're kind of doing the same things over and over and over again. Now, the process might be the same, but there's no 2 days in the real estate business the same. You don't get to see the same four walls, and no two clients are ever the same. It's always different. Literally, as I'm talking to you, I'm looking at my phone because I got an Apple and I got the LG. So I'm working on both of them, and I'm literally seeing that deals, they're asking for highest and best offer on two of the offers that I've made already. So I'll know tomorrow if our offer is accepted or rejected. That means if my offer is accepted, ladies and gentlemen, that's $6,000 on one deal. And if the other offer is accepted, that's $7,000 on the other deal, ladies and gentlemen. Here I am talking to you and doing real estate at the same time. That is the convenience of this. Antonio Goodman, my last guest speaker, 6 months in the real estate business. He invested $400 to get a license, and so far he's already made over $30,000, and he's only 6 months into it. He's going to be popping $100,000 a year every year. Plus, he has a full-time job. He's a dean. He's an instructor. He's got a catering business, and he's got a real estate business. I told you, we're entrepreneurs in this business. We'll find a way to beat the clock. We'll find a way to get it done. And when it comes to making an extra $5,000 to $10,000, we always figure out a way to get it done. And it's always nice to have those nice commission checks, especially if you're working with a broker that's 100% commission. We talked about my broker, Realty Mark. Realty Mark allows you, as a brand new real estate agent, to earn 100% commission. You keep it all. And that is, if let's just say that Antonio was with a broker where he had to give 50% commission back to the broker. He would have had to give up 15,000 of his $30,000 that he made already if he was on a 50-50 broker split. But because he's with a broker that allows him to keep 100% of his commission, he kept 100% of the $30,000. His broker took none of that. And this is what I'll teach you, ladies and gentlemen, in my class. One of the very first things after you invest this $400 in yourself is working with a broker. Now, I want to teach you this in my class. With that real estate license, you have many job opportunities are going to be. You will never look for work again, ladies and gentlemen. Me and Antonio were just joking about it. He's getting 6, 7 offers every week. Come work for us. Come work with us. Once you have that real estate license, you have the commodity. You'll never be broke, you'll never be unemployed, and you won't look for work anymore. Work will come to you. And that's exactly what's happening. So Antonio's getting job offer after job offer, and that's exactly what's going to be happening to you. So once you invest this $400 in yourself, and I teach you the real estate business, now your stock is going to be way high, especially after you come out of this school. Every broker is going to be buying for you. They're going to be sending you emails, messages, text messages, the mail, calling you directly. Come work for us. You just came out of online real estate school and you are licensed. We have opportunity here. So that's where your world's going to change. Your lifestyle is going to change. You're not going to look for work anymore. Work will be coming to you. And now you have to decide on what kind of work you want to do, because you're not going to be able to service everybody. So this is why I always take my students and teach them how to start their real estate business one thing at a time. Don't be a light bulb, be a laser. Focus and stay focused on one thing. Don't be a jack of all trades, be a master of one. And I'll teach you how to do this. And then if you can do that, where you're not running all over the place, you too can add another 30, 40, 50, $60,000 in the first 6 months of your real estate career while you still have your full-time job, ladies and gentlemen. Because I teach my students, don't leave your job. You got benefits with that job. So if you're working a full-time job, and I know you're tired, it's called a 7-year itch. Every 7 years, we want to do something different. We're tired of our job. We're tired of our neighbors. We're tired of our relationship. We're tired of our goldfish. All right, making fun of the goldfish because you never get tired of goldfish. But anyway, every 7 years, ladies and gentlemen, it's a biological clock. We want to do something different. And right now, that clock is probably hitting you, where you don't want to go back to work. You want to do something different, and you just don't know what you wanted to do, but you always thought about real estate, didn't you? You always knew that real estate was probably good for you, and you always wanted to get into real estate. You just didn't know how to get in real estate because you thought you needed thousands and thousands of dollars to invest in property. I'm going to show you that that is not the situation that you need, and I'm going to teach you that you can buy your own first. You can buy your first property for exactly what you're going to be using for rent, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking to get a new apartment, you're going to need first month's rent, last month's rent, and a month's security. So that means if you're renting an apartment for $1,000 a month, you need $3,000 just for an apartment. What if I told you you could take that same $3,000 and buy a 2-bedroom home with a bathroom, a yard, a basement? 3-bedroom home compared to a 2-bedroom apartment with the same amount, $3,000. And once I teach you, then you're going to be teaching your buyers to do the same thing. And now you got a real estate business going, and you got buyers calling you all the time. Can you help me get a property? And everything that I'm teaching you is legit. There is no slim shady in this class. And this would be through a FHA mortgage where you only need 3.5% of your own money into the game, where we can get the seller to give us the rest of the money for the closing cost. So we can make a lot of first-time buyers very, very happy. And when I show you how to get the first-time buyer the money, because they don't have no money in their checking or savings account, we'll talk about it. They need it. They're sitting on money. They just didn't know they were sitting on money. And once I teach you where your buyer's sitting on the money because they didn't even know they were sitting on it, now they're really going to love you. You got to check out my agent, Warren. Not only did he help me buy my first property, he showed me where the money was to buy it. I didn't even know I was sitting on $5,000. Everybody practically is, ladies and gentlemen. You're sitting on the money, you just don't know it. And I'm going to teach you this in my class so that you can help everybody become a first-time buyer and make a ton of money, and you yourself. I'm going to teach you how to buy that duplex. I'm going to teach you to buy the duplex with money you don't even know you're sitting on yet. You're barely figuring out how to come up with $400 for a class. It'll be the best $400 you have ever invested, but I'm going to teach you after you invest that $400 in this class that you're sitting on a ton of money right now. You just didn't even know that you were sitting on it. And so where do I show you this? In the class. So I always like to teach these things that we're going along, and I know a lot of students, I've heard some of my students saying, you're talking about all the benefits, but you're not giving us any more lessons. So back to the lessons, ladies and gentlemen, as I always like to give. Now, we talk about many things in real estate. Let's talk about some of the very first lessons that I always give. And if you are a continued listener, you already know the answer, but you didn't know this answer before you started until you learned. If you buy a property here in Pennsylvania and you get a 30-year mortgage on that property, do you own that property day one, or do you own that property 30 years later when you make the final payment? Well, the answer to a lot of surprises is day one, ladies and gentlemen. So what? You got a 30-year mortgage. Do not get the mortgage and the deed confused. They're two different instruments. The deed means you own the property, your name's on the deed. The mortgage says that you have a loan for the next 30 years. The bank's name is not on the deed, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just say that Warren Nelson, me, I'm buying a property. And I buy this property with an FHA mortgage, and for the next 30 years, my payments are going to be $879 a month for the next 30 years. But I already have the deed in my name at the settlement table, at the closing. It's called transfer. The seller is going to get a check for the property, and the seller will give the buyer the deed and the keys to the property. Once the buyer receives the deed, it's called offer and acceptance, delivery and acceptance. Offer and acceptance with the agreement of sale, delivery and acceptance with the deed. Once the seller tenders the deed over the table to the buyer, at that moment, the buyer becomes the owner of the property. So it's the deed, the deed, the deed. So when we go looking at investment property, ladies and gentlemen, as a licensed real estate professional, after I teach you what to do, we don't care what the property looks like anymore. That's our buyers. Our buyers can imagine what they want to do with the property. Our job is to make sure that the buyer can do with the property they want to do with the property legally. And so, let's just say that the buyer wants to buy this single family property and turn it into a rooming house. But they can't do that. Not legally. The property would have to be zoned. So it would be your job as a real estate professional to advise the buyer that they could buy this property as a single family property, but without the variance to change the zoning, they would not be able to use this property for an illegal purpose. Since the property is zoned single family residential property, that's the only thing that the buyer could use the property for. You don't want a buyer suing you saying, you let me buy this $200,000 property. You gave me the impression that I could turn it into a rooming house. You never told me I couldn't do it. Now I find out I can't do it, and I just bought a $200,000 property that I can't use for the intended purpose that I needed it. Now I'm going to sue you. All right? So these things happen in the real estate business because some schools don't teach you what you need to know to represent others. They only teach you what you need to know to pass the exam. And so that's where my school excels. And that's why the brokers are really coming after the students out of this class. One other thing before we get back to this, you don't have to work for a broker with that real estate license, ladies and gentlemen. You can go to work for Walmart. You can go to work for McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, Wawa, especially on the lower coast here, on the East Coast. They're starting to move in. And so all these Fortune 500 companies are in the real estate business, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like you can order uh, a hamburger from McDonald's online. They need their locations. They are in the real estate business. You can go to work for a developer. You can go to work for a property management company. There are many, many opportunities available to you once you have that real estate license. You just have no clue how much opportunity is going to come to you until you invest this $400 and get that real estate license. Then your lifestyle is going to change. So let's go back to that deed and mortgage, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, lien theory state, title theory states. Pennsylvania is a lien theory state, which means the bank only has a lien against the property. Their name's not on the deed. So Warren Nelson, I'm buying the property, my name's on the deed. So what? I got a 30-year mortgage. That mortgage is a loan. The deed is the ownership of the property. And in Pennsylvania, once you buy a property, you get the deed day one at the settlement table. So what? I got a 30-year mortgage. The mortgage is a loan. The deed says I own the property. But that loan is collateral. So even though the bank's name's not on the deed, the bank is using the property as security, as collateral for the loan. If I don't make my loan payments, the mortgage payments, then the bank can foreclose. Not on the deed, but on their collateral, the mortgage. And I'm going to teach you this in the class. When you sign a mortgage, you sign two instruments when you buy a property, a mortgage and a note. The mortgage is the bank's right to foreclose. That is the bank. So everything that's in the mortgage gives the bank the right to take the property as collateral. So people like to say, I got a mortgage on my property. Well, when you say I got a mortgage on my property, what you're saying is I gave the bank permission to take my property. What you should say is I got a note on my property. That's called a promissory note. You promise to make your payments for the next 30 years. And so the promissory note is what you should say. I have a note on my property. But without this knowledge, people that you're talking to wouldn't understand what you mean anyway. They didn't know the difference between a mortgage and a note. And so, as an investor, when I teach you how to invest in property, one of the things that you need to know is the mortgage and the note, what the mortgage says, an alienation clause, an acceleration clause, a defiance clause, mortgage satisfaction, and so forth. So when I talk about these things, I'm going to talk to you about the mortgage. You got to understand that the mortgage is the bank's right to foreclose. And the bank doesn't want your property, ladies and gentlemen. The bank doesn't want your property. The government doesn't want it. They both want the green, the money that they lent you for the property. So what they're going to do is auction off the property for the money. They want their green. The bank's in one business, the money business. They have one product, Federal Reserve notes. And we'll talk about the Federal Reserve, the bank, the role of this. You cannot be in the investment world if you don't understand the role of the banks. And if you don't understand the role of the banks, then you're not going to succeed. So I teach my students, and most real estate agents, when they leave a class, they have no idea how to work with the banks when they become a real estate agent. That's a major flaw, and it's a destined level to help you fail as a real estate agent if you don't understand the bank. I'm going to teach you alienation clause. I'm going to teach you loan origination fees, discount points. I'm going to teach you, give us our yield. We'll give you the loan. If you understand how to work with the banks, ladies and gentlemen, then you're going to do wildly successful in this business. But if you don't understand how to work with the banks, then you're going to be completely lost in this business. So in my class, I'll go through 2 chapters of dealing with the banks, knowing how to deal with the banks. And then I'm going to teach you what most schools won't teach you here in Pennsylvania. They're not going to teach you title theory because title theory is other states. And they go, well, we're not going to involve title theory because that's another state. Well, what they're doing is depriving you of the education that you need to be a great investor. If you understand lien theory and title theory, lien theory, there's 2 parties, the lender and the borrower. A title theory state, there's 3 parties, the lender, the borrower, and the third party called the trustee that holds the deed. In the title theory state, ladies and gentlemen, you won't get the deed until 30 years later when you make your final payment. But in a lien theory state like Pennsylvania, an intermediate lien theory state, then you get the deed day one. So what? You got a 30-year mortgage. But if you understand the title theory state and the title theory philosophy, I can turn you into a great real estate investor by buying notes, mortgages, and residual income. But if you don't understand the title theory state, because a lot of schools won't teach title theory, because Pennsylvania is not title theory, so why do we need to teach you title theory? So they're depriving you of that lesson, and therefore they're depriving you of being a good real estate investor as well, because they're trying to teach you just what you need to pass the exam. That is the motto of most schools. And they're like, well, that's not important. That's not going to be on the state exam. Well, maybe it's not going to be on the state exam, but it's certainly part of your real estate career, and it's certainly part of your real estate investing. So you need to know the difference between a lien theory state and a title theory state, and I go into great detail. And then I'll teach you how to work with owner financing. Let me give you an example. Somebody's selling a farm for $200,000. They got an $80,000 first mortgage. I have $80,000 cash, and I want to buy this $200,000 farm. And what's that? We got another 100, and we got what, 80 and 160, and we got another $40,000 to go to make this 200,000. So let's talk about this farm I want to buy for $200,000. The owner wants 200,000, but I don't have 200,000. He's got an $80,000 first mortgage still owes on the property. So if he sells this property for $200,000, he's got to pay off that $80,000 mortgage. But if there's no alienation clause or no acceleration clause, then I can assume that mortgage. I can have it assigned to me because there's no alienation clause, and I can take over the payment of that $80,000 mortgage. And now what do I got? I got $160,000 to deal with to pay off this mortgage. So here's what I'll do. I'll give this farmer 80,000 cash. That's what I have. I'll assume the $80,000 mortgage, and I'll give him a second mortgage for $40,000 where he's reserving interest and residual income. I just bought this property, a $200,000 property, for $80,000. And guess what? No bank was involved through this whole deal. I worked with the farmer. I assumed his $80,000 first mortgage. I gave him $80,000 cash, and I created a second note called owner financing, vendor vendee. This is known as a purchase money mortgage for another $40,000. Now the farmer's got $80,000 cash. He's out of the responsibility of making the first payment, and he's got a $40,000 residual note coming in every month like clockwork. Once you start learning how to work these deals, learning the terms, I just bought a $200,000 farm. I didn't get a loan, no bank loan. I had $80,000 saved up, but I was able to buy. Now, I'm using an $80,000 scenario, but I'm telling you, I'm going to teach you how to buy a duplex, a $200,000 duplex for 3.5% down. A $100,000 duplex, $3,500 is all you need to buy a $100,000 property. That's exactly what you need for first, last, and a month security for a new apartment. But I can get you a $100,000 duplex for $3,500, or a $200,000 duplex, $7,000 out of your pocket, 3.5%. And you know what? You said you don't have 3,000, you don't have 7,000. You got it. You got it. You're sitting on it. You just don't know you're sitting on it. And I'll share that in that class. I'll get you to buy your first property. I'll get you, you're sitting on the money. You just didn't know it. And this is what makes you and me a great real estate agent, because once we take these lessons and give these lessons to others and help others buy property when they didn't even know it, now they're going to refer you. I told you Antonio's got 7 referrals out of 6 clients that he helped. He's already got 7 referrals. He had to spend nothing in marketing or advertisement, because if I teach you to do your job right, I teach you that nobody likes a real estate agent that doesn't answer any questions. Oh, my agent didn't say anything, didn't tell me this. All my agent said was initial here, sign here, initial here, sign here. That's all my agent did. And now they're talking badly about their agent. But if you are an agent that can explain everything, every step of the way, as we cross these bridges, and you're telling me exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it, then I'm going to feel comfortable and I'm going to love you. You got to check out my real estate agent. All right. So now, one thing that I learned about the live streaming show is I can't do anything about a fly in my studio. So I got a fly flying around my studio. We'll make sure that we don't have no unexpected audience for my next show from now on. But this is what happens when I leave the window open every now and then. Fly flies in, so I got a fly that I'm dealing with here, ladies and gentlemen. That is the purpose of live streaming. I told you, I love doing this. I love my podcast, but I love the live streaming show because everything is happening right here. And that's why I say, anybody could do a radio show. I hear so many of these radio shows. These things are pre-recorded. They pre-recorded these radio show, and now it comes on the air, and it sounds like these guys are whizzes, they're geniuses, but it was pre-recorded, it was cut, it was dubbed. This is a live streaming show. And you know what life is? You know what real estate is, ladies and gentlemen? It's a live streaming show. You don't get a chance to pre-record everything. Everything happens right on the spot. And so I love this live streaming show. I love that the audience comes back to my live streaming show. And I love giving you these lessons over and over again every Monday. So, again, today's lessons: invest $400 in yourself to make yourself a ton of money, to get a real estate license, and to help others. Again, I'll teach you how to invest in that first contract, and I'm going to teach you how to invest in property. Don't get the mortgage and the deed mixed up. The mortgage is a loan for the property. The deed means you own that property. Also, ladies and gentlemen, one of the first questions that you'll learn in real estate school is, who do you represent? Who do you represent? Are you representing the buyer? Or are you representing the seller? No, ladies and gentlemen. Who you're representing is the broker. You represent the broker. The broker represents the clients. And so I'll teach you this. You don't get your real estate license, by the way. You will get a pocket card to carry in your wallet or your purse, but your license will hang on the wall of the broker who you will affiliate with. And so you won't be starting off without a broker, ladies and gentlemen, or some kind of a guidance, some kind of a mentor, because you don't know what you don't know yet. And so you have to learn what you don't know. And so we're starting off in the real estate business. Your first 3 deals are a little rocky. Then after that, it becomes templated because now you know what you know. So starting off in the real estate business, I always want to let everybody know that we're going to be dealing with different employment contracts. Your broker, dealing with your broker is an employment contract. Working with each buyer and seller is an employment contract. I'm representing the buyer to make an offer for them. That's an employment contract. I'm representing the seller to sell the property for them. That's an employment contract. So you represent the broker represents the client. And it doesn't matter if the client is your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your son, or your daughter. It is not your client. It is the brokerage's client. And so we'll teach you what you can and can't say in the real estate business. And the other thing that I'm going to teach you is once you get that real estate license, ladies and gentlemen, you will never be able to buy or sell real estate again without disclosing the fact that you are a licensed professional. You bought my property from me. You never told me that you were a licensed professional. I think you took advantage of me. And chances are you did. That is the only reason you never disclosed that you are a licensed professional. So we have ethical rules and laws that we're going to have to comply with. Once we become licensed by the state, we have to do everything legally, ethically, compliantly. And we're not representing ourselves, we're representing our clients. And the class teaches you how to represent others in the real estate business. So this is knowledge. And then you're going to become the teacher. People are going to be coming to you. Jody, can you help me out with this deal? You got a real estate license. Can you talk? Can you explain how this works, Jody? Can you explain how this works? And now your wisdom is going taking you places. Now see how you're on a different plateau? People are coming to you for advice, for guidance, for assurance, because they know you know what it takes to represent others in the real estate business. And how did you learn this? You took my school, ladies and gentlemen, Online Real Estate School Inc. My producer's going to throw this up. Ladies and gentlemen, go to my website, onlinerealestateschoolinc.com, onlinerealestateschoolinc.com. Don't forget the Inc. I'm going to teach you how to incorporate an LLC. And once you do LLC incorporate, you'll have to incorporate it into your name. So as you can see, I got the Incorporation Inc. Online Real Estate School Inc.com. Please go to my website, go to my podcast, go to my live streaming show, go to my websites, go to my social media. You can't help but see Online Real Estate School just about everywhere you go today. It's out there. We're blasting it in billboards, you name it. Online Real Estate School Inc.com is the school, the alma mater that you want to be proud to say that you were a part of. What school did you go to? Online Real Estate School. And as soon as you mention that you're a graduate of Online Real Estate School, wait till you see the broker's eyebrows. They go up. Oh, really? Because they know that I taught you how to run a real estate business. I didn't just teach you how to pass an exam. And so the brokers now know that once you're an alma mater, once you are coming out of Online Real Estate School Inc., they already know that you're the best of the best in the business already. And so my students, they're being bombarded with offers of employment because they already know that you guys have more training than any other school is going to give you. You already know how to run a real estate business. So therefore, you're already an asset to many of these brokers. You're not a liability, which most students are a liability. Most new agents are a liability. But my students are far too advanced, far too knowledgeable to be a liability to themselves or to their brokerage. So, ladies and gentlemen, the mortgage and the deed. You own the property by the deed, the deed, the deed, the deed. We'll talk about the general warranty deed, the special warranty deed, the bargain and sale deed, and the quit claim deed. That's the one where you get suckered out of your money. We'll talk about these deeds. We'll talk about title insurance. We'll talk about many things. ADA accessibilities and so forth. Why did Burger King get shut down? Why did SEPTA get shut down in years past? Because they did not complete or meet the ADA accessibility. So even SEPTA had to modify their buses so that a person in a wheelchair. Well, you're going to be in business for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to have to learn protected classes, federal, state, and local protected classes, and what you can and cannot say in these protected classes. 62 and over is a protected class. Familiar status is a protected class. A parent with children, all right, and ADA, people who are mentally and physically disabled, is a protected class, and we got to know how and what we can and cannot do in the real estate industry. especially if we're doing property management under protected classes. So all these things you're going to learn. You're going to learn federal law, state law, local law. Then you're going to learn the business of being in real estate to represent others. Our next class, ladies and gentlemen, starts August 17th. As a matter of fact, we actually have a orientation on the 16th, and I have this class on the 16th as well. So we'll squeeze it in. It's not a problem. We'll get it all done. So if you're looking in the next 6 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, to change your lifestyle, start with 150 bucks. I'll get you started with 150. You don't even need the whole 400 bucks up front. All right. So if you received my text yesterday and earlier today, you know you can start out with 150 bucks. So go to my website, call me 267 972 1084. 267 972 1084. Call me, text me. I always have time. I'll read my email after the show, and I'll probably have 6 or 7 new leads, people that want to talk and get into the class. And I want to encourage you to take this leap of faith. So 267 972 1084 is my number, ladies and gentlemen. Call me. I'll show you how we can get started with $150 down. Not a problem. We'll get you started, get you in 6 weeks from now. We'll have you a licensed real estate professional. 6 months from now, probably $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 richer for that $400 investment. So I always encourage, any way I can, through a live streaming class, a blog, a podcast, my social media, any way that I can encourage you to invest in you, then I'm going to do it. And you know as well as I do, ladies and gentlemen, every millionaire, billionaire, and trillionaire has real estate in their portfolio. They didn't make it in the stock market. They didn't make it in bonds and gold and silver. They have it in their portfolio, but that's not what made them the money. What made them money? Equity, ladies and gentlemen. Equity, real estate. All right? You just bought a property to move into, to live in. 5 years from now, it's worth $10,000 more than what you paid for it. You're sitting on $10,000 in equity. The property just made you $10,000, and all you did was make your payments and live in this property. Another 5 years, the property's worth $25,000 more. Now you're sitting on $25,000 in equity. And what did you do? You moved into a property that just kept going up in value, and now you're sitting on all this extra money. And what are you going to do? You're going to sell this property and buy another one. So get started on that first investment property, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to teach you how to live rent-free, mortgage-free. That's the first thing I teach you. That's the first thing that you're going to learn for your $400 investment. Then I'm going to teach you so many other things that you're going to go on to make all kinds of revenue, all kinds of income. I'm going to give you all the knowledge that you need, not techniques, knowledge. Knowledge is power. And once you have the knowledge of what you can legally and ethically do and cannot do, then you got a great platform, a great starting point. And ladies and gentlemen, as I said, the quickest hour in real estate is about to come to an end in 3 minutes. And that's the great thing about this live streaming show. Even though I didn't have anything prepped, I can talk to you for an hour easily. In the podcast, in person, on the phone, on the live stream platform, ladies and gentlemen. Once you have your gift of gab, once you learn to be an extrovert, then you're going to make a ton of money in this business by representing others. So I want to encourage everybody to come to my class starting August 17th. Sign up now because I got to mail out your manual to you, and that takes 2 to 3 days to send out. So I like to have you signed up before the last minute. I don't want you not having your manual before our class starts. So give me a shout. Go to my website. Go to my landing page. Call me. Let's get you in the class, ladies and gentlemen. 150 bucks, get you started. Let's get you knowledge. Let's get you educated. Let's get you a licensed real estate professional. Anything I can do to encourage you to invest in yourself, I simply want to do that, ladies and gentlemen. Please invest in yourself. Allow me to pay it forward and give you all the education that you need to be successful and to have a different lifestyle. My podcast, look for my podcast, Real Estate Saved My Lifestyle. The podcast is about real estate agents and the lifestyle that they're leading. So go to my podcast. This free class is about joining the school, learning to become a real estate professional. The podcast is about all those who just became professionals and now they're already making money, like Antonio. I just did a podcast 6 months into it. He's $30,000 richer, and he's got 7 more deals from referrals that he's working on. He's going to be making $100,000 a year every year. Ladies and gentlemen, before we leave, I always like to give a shout out to my producer, the Gish Group, ladies and gentlemen. Vernon's been there from the beginning of the show, and I'm looking forward to many more years with him. If you need somebody to produce a show, a podcast, a radio, an event, then may I suggest Vernon, the Gish Group. And you can reach Vernon at info@gishgroup.com. Info at Gish Group, spelled GUISHGROUP. Gishgroup.com. One of the best producers in town, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're looking for him, you don't have to look any further. I'm recommending him. Vernon, great producer, has the show up and running, no problems. Unlike my podcast, which I didn't have Vernon produce, I had a problem. So now that Vernon's producing this, I don't have a problem. So he does my live streaming show. I've been very happy with him, and I always like to give a shout out. Ladies and gentlemen, the quickest hour in real estate is about to conclude. Please sign up for the August 17th class or the October 12th. If you can't make the August, because it's only a week away, be prepared for the October 12th class. So start putting your pennies aside, start making your reservations, start getting things ready so that you can educate yourself, change your lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking for a better lifestyle, you're only 75 hours away and $400 investment away to a better lifestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the online live streaming real estate class brought to you by Online Real Estate School. My name is Warren Nelson. I want to once again thank everybody for attending my class, and I look forward to seeing everybody next Monday on my podcast and my show. Be safe, be healthy, be happy. Ciao.